welcome to another video. It is me, Desiree, and today it is time already to check in with my Shop My Stash for June. So I'm just going to go over all the products I shopped my stash for this month and share with you how they worked out for me, what I'm going to keep, what I'm going to declutter, all that kind of stuff. So let's start with the primer that I picked out. I picked out the Milk Hydro Grip Primer. So at the beginning of the month, I did the video where I picked out the products and I applied them all on my face. And as I was talking about this one, I just couldn't get over how it looked because it looks very cloudy and yucky, but I also don't know where this came from because I know I didn't buy this, but I can't figure out for the life of me where it came from or why I have it. So that tells me I have no idea how old this is. And also, I don't know if this is the product, but something made my skin freak out this month, and I don't know why I feel like it was this. So my face was covered in little bumps, so pretty much the whole of my whole face was covered in bumps. I had tons and tons and tons of texture all over my face. It did end up going away just kind of on its own. I didn't really do anything special because I felt like it was a reaction which would go away on its own. It wasn't like a skincare thing I needed to take care of, and it did go away on its own. And then I used this again, and guess what happened? The same thing happened. I got all those little bumps all over my face again. So I'm pretty sure this is the culprit. I have used this product before, and I really like it. I think it's a great, really grippy, sticky primer. And I now kind of regret getting rid of the travel size that I had. I gave it away to somebody at work because I said I have a full size, but this has gone off. I don't know where it came from. This is going in the garbage. I used it twice. It's trash. The foundation I picked out is the IT Cosmetics Your Skin But Better CC Cream. So this is definitely an iconic product of IT Cosmetics at this time. It's color correcting, full coverage cream, plus anti-aging, hydrating serum, and it has SPF 50. So I remember when this came out, like everybody was wanting to try it, everyone wanted to use it, and everybody loved it. But the shade range was really, really bad. I feel like they've probably expanded it by then, plus they have other foundations and stuff that do have really good shade ranges, but I don't remember if they expanded this one or not. So I wanted to pull this out again because I don't remember really liking it all that much. I like the texture, I love the coverage, I like how natural it looks on the skin but still covers up everything. I like all of that about it, but I always found that this would oxidize on me and turn so pink. I mean so pink. So I pulled it out again because I was like, well, maybe it was just that day. Maybe it was just the lighting I was looking at it in, who knows. So I did use this a few times as like a full foundation, and it didn't oxidize at all. It actually looked really good, but I wouldn't use it to work just to be on the safe side. I was only using it on the weekends because on the weekends, who cares? But when I was going to work, I was like afraid to use it. But it never oxidized on me when I wore it as a full face of foundation. And if you haven't tried this before, it's really good. It is in a squeeze tube, although it looks like it would be a squeeze you have to squeeze out. It actually does have a pump on it. And it's really smooth. It covers everything on your face without looking like you're wearing foundation. Like, it doesn't look like you're wearing a heavy foundation. For me, I think one pump is a little too much. Usually a pump is what I would normally wear on my face, but I feel like with this, a full pump is too much because it just has that much coverage. And then I had just been really enjoying lighter things on my skin lately. Like, I'm in love with the Neutrogena Serum Foundation. And then I started using also the Maybelline Skin Tint. And I've just really been enjoying something a little lighter in the coverage department, although I still have like a full face of makeup on. So what I started doing with this is using it as a concealer. And you know what? I love it. I almost love it more that way. So I would put on the serum foundation, which is what I did today, and then I would get this just a little bit, like maybe not even a pea, like the size of a lentil, like 2 lentils together is how much I would get. Put it on my ring fingers, and then I would dab it normally where I would put concealer. So on like discoloration on my forehead, the cheeks, the little temple area, chin, nose. And then I would blend it out with the sponge, and I feel like I loved it a lot more that way because I was still getting the really great coverage of this, but not necessarily on my whole face, you know? I liked it. I liked it a lot, and honestly, I was thinking of decluttering it because I had only worn it as a full face of foundation, and I was like, it's good, but right now it's not really what I need and what I'm really loving, but I know it's gonna come back. You know, everything is cyclical. Like right now I'm not into it, but it's gonna come back. I'm gonna love full coverage foundation again one day, so I'm not gonna declutter it, but I've been absolutely loving it as a concealer. I think it's even better that way. Okay, what is next? Let's talk about this bronzer, the Hard Candy Just Glow Matte Bronzer. I don't know if they still make this. I've had this for a long time. I got it at Walmart. I mean, look at this packaging. It's all beat up. And this is a color that I really enjoy. It has a lot of red tone in it, which is, I love red and orange in a bronzer. I just love it. And I thought this would be a great replacement for the Rimmel natural bronzer that for some reason will just stop working after a few months. Like it will have just no pigmentation all of a sudden. It's the weirdest thing. And I thought this would be a great replacement for that, but I don't know what it was this month with this bronzer, but I just didn't like it. I like it today because I chose to use a different brush, but normally I use this big old brush here, just like this bronzer brush, but I'm starting to think that it's the brush, it's not the bronzer, because I've had this brush for a very long time, and as you can see in there, it's starting to like open up like this, and I feel like I'm not getting any, obviously any powder on that part when I'm dabbing it into the bronzer. And I think that it's the brush that is wrong. I don't think it's the bronzer itself, because I used a different brush today. I used this Morphe one, and I wouldn't normally use a brush like this for bronzer, but this is the V115, and I hadn't really been using it too much, so I put the bronzer on with it today, and I was like, it's perfect. So I do like this color a lot. I like the formula. I love this red tone, but I didn't enjoy it at all this month until today because of this stupid brush. Like, why didn't I just switch out the brush a long time ago? But I love this brush for bronzer, but I kind of think it's nearing the end of its life, and it's kind of like not coming back together after I wash it. It's just kind of like, I think it's nearing the end of its life. So I'm gonna hang on to this because I like it today, but I hated it the rest of the month. But what are you gonna do? The mascara that I picked out is actually from Give. This is the Can't Stop Staring mascara. And this is something that I had very high hopes for. I like couldn't wait to try it. I bought this when I was in Palm Springs, and I thought it was just fine. It didn't blow me away. It didn't knock my socks off. It was just a good mascara, and that was it, which is fine. And then I put it away in a drawer, and I was like, I'll use it every now and then. But I decided to shop my stash for it and use it every single day this month, and that is what I did. And you know what? It's really good. I have it on my lashes today without any primer. I know I've been using the Maybelline mascara primer with every mascara, but I made it a point to not put it on today. But I think just maybe with some age, this has gotten a little better. It is a little bit more on the drier side, and it just builds so nicely. It combs through the lashes really easily. It doesn't get sticky or like want to clump your lashes all together. Here's what the brush looks like. It has one of those little spiky ball things on the top, which I find useless, to be honest. And then the brush is kind of interesting because it's not a brush like a spiral brush covered in bristles. It has like 4 long combs on either side, and then like the tiniest bristles you've ever seen in between. I don't feel like I need to constantly make it a point to get the comb part on my lashes. I feel like when I try that and then when I use it normally, they come out exactly the same. So I like this now. I just think it needed a little bit of time, a little bit of age, a little bit of like, I don't know, air to get in there. But I do like it, gonna keep it, and it doesn't transfer, smudge, smear, or flake, which is great in a mascara. Okay, 3 products left. The highlighter I picked out was from Fenty Beauty. This is the Kilowatt Freestyle Highlighter Duo in the shade Lightning Dust and Fire Crystal. This is a product that had just been languishing in my highlighter drawer, but I could never seem to declutter it. I could not bring myself to do it because the packaging is so nice. I love the colors that are in here, but I just never ever used it. And that is because you get one side here that's very subtle, and I feel like this, it reminds me a lot of the same formula that's in the Essence Pure Nude Highlighter in the shade Be My Highlight. Obviously not the same tone, but that same kind of really finely milled, almost just kind of super subtle kind of highlighter, like a lit from within kind of look. That is what that one is. And then this one is the complete opposite. It's sparkly, it's shiny, it's just really glimmery. and it is what I put on today, and I actually wore this every single day this month, and I really loved it specifically with this brush. This is the Morphe V111. It's this little tiny pointed highlighter brush. I love that sparkly side with this brush because it kept it right here. And what I tend to do with highlighter is go like this, and so it's all over my cheek and kind of mixed into the blush. And I never liked this like that because I didn't want that glitter and glimmer to get all over my face. So using like a more pinpointed brush and keeping it right where I wanted it, I really loved it, and I loved the sparkle that was in this. I'm so glad I pulled this out because it really had never been used. I used it maybe a couple of times, and I've had it for a long time. And now I even like made a little dent there in the impression that says FB, like the Fenty Beauty impression. I love it, gonna keep it, and I'm glad I pulled it out. All right, the eyeshadow palette that I picked out this month is the Anastasia and Jackie Aina eyeshadow palette. I pulled this out because I never use it. And I don't like it. I don't like this palette, and it's weird because this is a fan favorite. I think I'm the only person that I've ever heard say they don't like this palette. Everybody liked it when it came out. It was in everybody's like yearly favorites video. And it's a really beautiful color selection. Like, look at those, like, just grungy jewel tones. It is absolutely beautiful. But there's something about the formula. I don't know if it's the formula, my lack of skills, the colors, but this just doesn't work for me. The only day it actually worked and that I really liked it was the day that I tried it in a video, was the day that I did the Shop My Stash video. And I put this palette on. I loved the way it came out, and then every single day afterwards I was like, what is happening? Nothing was blending, the colors just don't work, and it's exactly the way it was when I first got it. Like, I just don't get it. Although it's beautiful and the color selection is so good. Like, this looks like a color selection that Pat McGrath would put together. Like, such a beautiful selection. But there's something about the formulas that just don't go well together for me, and I can't figure it out. So I'm gonna let this go. The only reason I have been holding on to it is because I have a bunch of Anastasia palettes, and I wanted to have this. I didn't want to let it go. I wanted to keep it and just always say I had it. But I think someone else would love this. Someone else that didn't get a chance to buy it when it came out or it sold out. I'm gonna throw this on Poshmark because it just doesn't work for me. And then the last product I picked out was the Moon Prism Blush Palette from Lunar Beauty. That is what I have on my cheeks today. And you know what? I'm so glad I picked out this palette because this is another thing that I hadn't really used ever since I reviewed it. And that was well over 2 years ago at this point. And I just never really picked it up again. And I don't know why. I'm remembering now that I thought that this was too pigmented, and maybe just my taste has changed and I like more blush on my face. So maybe that's why I kind of liked it a lot more this month. So you get 4 matte blushes. This one here has some shimmer in it, and this one has a tiny bit of sparkle in it. You can't really see it, but you can see it just a little bit. It's just enough to say that it's not totally matte, and I loved this a lot. The only shade I didn't use is this one here in the top corner called Pink Moon, because it's just a little too pale, like a little too baby pink and a little too white based, and it just doesn't look good on me. But all the other colors, I could not stop using this palette. I loved it. The one I have on today is this one called Gravity, and that actually used to be my least used shade in this palette because I thought it was too pigmented. I thought it's too dark for my skin tone, it's not going to work, but that is what I have on today, and I love it. I feel like the lighting is not doing this blush justice. It looks like I got the best sunburn ever. Like, it looks rosy, but like almost like a rosy bronzer. It's such a beautiful color. I love this one here called Spacey. Like, these two are the ones I used the most. These two here in the middle are great too, and so is that one. I just didn't use that one too much, but I'm so glad I pulled this out. I loved it. I used it a lot as eyeshadow this month as well. Just a home run for Lunar Beauty, and I'm so glad I rediscovered this because what a gem in my collection, and it had just been sitting there. So that is it. That is my little roundup of Shop My Stash. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Let me know some products you've shopped your stash for this month and what you thought of them. I would love to know. But that is it. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. Subscribe so you don't miss the next one, and I will see you later in another video. Goodbye.